such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time as This, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness. As always, I want to start off the video with a word from the scriptures. Romans 1:18, that first chapter of Romans is very, very famous, popular, especially today. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. Suppress the truth. If you want a culture to flee from God, to be void of God, suppress the truth. For whatever can be known about God is plain to them because God has shown it to them. God is not hard to find. The evidence of him is obvious. Verse 20, for his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made. So they are without excuse. People who claim that God doesn't exist, they're lying to themselves and they're lying to you. They are without excuse. Verse 21, for although they knew God, they did not honor him as God or give thanks to him, but they became futile in their thinking and their foolish hearts were darkened. In context, Paul is talking about how cultures go from godly to ungodly. Just look in our culture today in 2025. That's what happened. Claiming to be wise, it ends in verse 22. Claiming to be wise, they became fools. I have a clip from Fox News, Outnumbered. That's their big show in the middle of the day. The horrific incident that took place last week, a young lady who was a refugee from Ukraine, gets off of work, sits on a bus, and a black man diagnosed with schizophrenia, for no reason, no provocation, stabs her in the neck 3 times and kills her. Crime is on the rise. Our culture is becoming more and more godless. The more we suppress the truth, the worse it gets. On Fox News Channel, the doctor, I believe his name is Dr. Siegel, he explains the truth that crime is on the rise and we're getting more and more violent as a culture. Listen to the doctor's diagnosis of our social ills.
But I want to talk about something else, which is random acts of crime. You know what that does? That creates fear. So it's not a matter of statistics in Charlotte. If you see that happening, especially to Kennedy's point, on transit, which we all take, you think we can be next. But to the Democrats, oh, it's a knife. It was a gun. We would talk about gun control, but it's a knife. But random acts of violence, and statistics show, according to the FBI and the Bureau of Justice Statistics, they're on the rise. And you know what they're tied to? And it's another point Kennedy was making. They're tied to mental health problems. Democrats don't want to talk about that. We have a huge mental health crisis in this country, and that's who performs a random act of violence, someone with mental health issues.
Mental health issues. The problem with random acts of violence is mental health. Now, are they sick in the head? Was that man in the Carolina, South Carolina, I believe it was he sick in the head? Yeah, he's sick in the head. But let me put it to you, before he was sick in the head, he was sick in the heart. Mental issues, yeah, I'm not going to debate that. But the question is why? Here's the answer. Sin. Sin. The more we suppress the truth, the more as a culture we embrace the fact that it's not a child, it's just a clump of cells in a woman's body, but it's not a child. And abortion is not the taking of an innocent life. The more we accept that as a culture, we're suppressing the truth. The more we accept as a culture that a man can transition to a woman or a woman can transition to a man, and the more we accept and embrace or allow transgenderism, we suppress the truth. The more we are allowing young men into locker rooms with young women because these men think that they're women, or we allow young men to participate in girls' sports, we suppress the truth. Sin is going to keep growing. And because sin and lies grow, more acts of violence is going to grow. The only way back from the senseless, evil taking of life is to speak the truth of God in our culture. Mental health is not the problem. Mental health may be, or the lack of mental health, mental scrutiny, may be a symptom, but it's not a problem. It's not the problem. Mental health is a symptom. Sin and to rebel against God. That's the problem.
For such a time as this,